Okay, that's a fantastic question. So the thing is here is that mostly whenever a person is diagnosed with cancer, right, what they're completely looking at is the physical aspect. Today there's complete focus given on the physical aspect. Okay, where is the tumor? What is it? You know, what is the treatment that's going to be done to the body? And absolutely no importance is given to the psychological aspect. What is happening to the patient right now? What are the thoughts running through the patient's head right now? What are the thoughts running through the patient's family members? What is going on in their minds? So what typically happens is that the patient then completely hands over the reins to either the their prime caregivers or to the doctor, saying, you know what, I'm going to do whatever the doctor tells me to do. But what they're not focusing on is what do they want, you know? Do they want to come out of this? You know, what do they see after they come out of it? And these typical questions they never ask themselves, because right now they're bogged down. Everybody becomes a doctor around them. Right from their families, their neighbors, everyone becomes a doctor, and they have the doctors to answer to. So this clearly, with coaching, it just helps them to clearly understand how they accept the cancer, how are they accepting it psychologically, not to consider it as karma, okay, this is, which is again a typical thing, oh, this is my calling, this is the way I'm going to go. To reject that, again, reject the prognosis that, oh, I have so much time, this is what, you know, I'm going to do. The prognosis can be beaten, and then to say, okay, fine, how are you going to live life once you're done with the illness?
I think often what happens is, especially like when anyone gets diagnosed with cancer, like Paul said, like they're so bogged down and everyone becomes their doctor. What happens more often than not, the patient itself, we all kind of ignore what's actually going on with the patient, kind of ignore what he's feeling, and all that is just kind of like put aside. So as a cancer coach with the CARER program, what we focus on is of course the family, to kind of gauge how they have taken the whole thing, how they have accepted the disease itself. And more importantly, of course, our first focus is our patient, and what we focus on with them is how well have they accepted the disease, and of course the motivation that they have while this whole process can be so painful, and it can be so strenuous for not just the patient but the whole family itself. So what we try and do is, as coaches, we try and give them a little more importance, give them some focus as to see how we can kind of like get them back on their feet, because it can be very, very strenuous on them and the family.
And just to add to what Kritika said, considering that I came into this entire space as a family member of a patient, for us it's completely that what are the emotions that we are feeling as family members, and especially in my case it was my mom. My mom had a very, very close bond with all of us. What were the thoughts that were going on in our heads? You know, what is life going to be without her? What more can I do to help her? But there's really nothing that we can do. That helplessness feeling, I want to do more but I can't do more. And all this then reflects on the patient. The patient then starts, you know, because there is subconscious transference of all these emotions which are coming onto the patient, because they already do have a strong bond with you. And that adds more stress to them, until a point wherein they feel that the family members are going through so much, so it's better if things end for them than for them to continue the fight. You know, so that's another reason, I mean, why coaching for the family members comes in, because it completely helps them how they can, you know, coherently work together and say, yeah, let's all fight this together, not just the patient.